Hello YouTube, Paige here. This video is going to be on how to make a tunnel for your guinea pigs or other small pets, but the size I'm going to make is going to be for a guinea pig. So what you're going to need for this project is this kind of foam. I'm using stuff that's a 1/2 inch thick. You could probably get away with a 1/4 inch thick, but I'm going to use 1/2 inch because that's what I have. Now if you notice, it has a little blips in it because I'm actually using scraps left over from another project, so I had to sew these pieces together to get them to be the right length. So I'm not sure the exact measurements of this, but all you need to do to find out how much you need is loop it around, see how big the circumference is, and if it's enough room for your guinea pigs to get through, then it's good. Now you want it to be slightly bigger so that they don't get stuck. Okay, so I'm using these 2 fleeces, so you also are going to need fleece. Now this one is going to be for the outside, so that's the pattern for the outside. Now I'm kind of iffy about using this one because it has a larger pattern instead of something like this where the pattern is smaller and you would for sure see what it is. But I like this fabric, so I'm going to use it anyway. And then this green is going to be used for the inside of my tunnel. So the first step I'm going to do is to cut my fabric. So these are going to be on each end of the tunnel, and then they're going to be in little loops. Now if you want, which is what I would actually suggest, especially if you have a 1/4 inch one, is actually get foam for the whole length of the tunnel. But this is all I have left over, so I'm going to make a slightly shorter tunnel and then do loops at the very ends of them to keep it stiff, and then in the middle just to keep it so it's almost the same thickness as the rest. I'm just going to use some batting, which is pretty much stuffing that is in sheets. So I'm going to use that for there goes one, for in between these 2. So I'm going to cut how much batting I'm going to need, and I'm going to cut my fabric to the length I want and then the width of this so that it can wrap all the way around. So that's what I'm going to do, and then we'll show you the next step. Okay, so I cut my fabric. That's going to be on the outside and this is going to be on the inside. And what I did to measure is I just took this and then I sort of rolled it around itself to measure how much fabric I would need. I mean, the green would be in the inside of the green rings, but that's pretty much how I measured how much fabric I would need. So now that that's done, what I'm going to do is sew the layers together and then fit the rings and the batting. Well, I'll put the batting in as I'm sewing together and then fit the rings inside. So I'll do that and then I'll show you where we're at and show you the next step. Okay, so I've decided to sew on the green piece last, already in its little ring shape, and slide it on the inside and then sew it around, because that will make there be no seams on the inside or the outside once I add on my rings around the very edges at the end. So I'm going to sew the batting to this pink part, and then I'm going to sew these rings on, and then I'm going to put them in. But anyway, I'll show you that step when I get there. So I'm just going to sew the batting on these 2 short edges to the pink fabric. Okay, so I sewed the batting to this piece. I also did some right here. And then I put still the right sides together into the little loop. And then I'm going to sew that edge, and then I'm going to flip it. And then it's going to be the outside of the thing. The tunnel. There we go. Okay, so here this is. I have the pink and the batting on the inside is sewn together. This green foam and the green fabric is not yet sewn in. I'm just sizing it to make sure that it will fit nicely, and this is the perfect size. So right now the green fabric is just pinned in place where I'm going to sew it so that it's the right size. And then once that is done, then I'm going to sew these 3 layers together, and then I'll show you the final step. Alright, so we have the inner green layer sewn together, and we're not going to flip this one right side out, because this is right side out, because when we place it inside the tunnel, the seam will be inside when we sew it all together. So this is the way we want it. So you're not going to flip this piece. So what I'm going to do is stick it inside the tunnel, and then I'm going to sew around the edge. Now you want this green foam, or whatever color foam you have, could be white maybe, to be at the very edge, because right now you want it to be flush with all the fabric, okay, because we're going to add something at the end that will hide everything. So I'm going to sew the green piece into the inside by slipping it inside and then sewing around this edge. So I'll do that and then show you where we're at. Okay, so I haven't sewn it together yet because I wanted to show you this. I took off this part of the sewing machine that just slides on and slides back off again because I cannot sew it simply like this. It just doesn't fit. So I have to slide it on this part to sew it around like that. So if your sewing machine has that capability, that's what you're going to have to do, or else you might have to sew it by hand. And if you do have to sew it by hand, I would recommend a whip stitch, and that's where you enter one side, pull it around, you enter the same side. So just take off that part of your sewing machine if you can, and then sew it around. Okay, so now I have this all sewn together, so it is almost done. Like, this is pretty much what it's going to look like when it's done. And as you can see, those 2 rings of foam on the outside are all you really need, and then just batting in the middle, which you might not need batting in the middle, but I would suggest it. So there's my tunnel. Should be big enough for my guinea pigs to get through. I'm hoping, otherwise, yikes, what am I going to do with it? So there it is, and the last step is you're going to take a piece of the inside fabric, or you could do the outside fabric, but I like the look of it when you use the inside fabric. And then we're going to cut pieces so that it folds around, so it goes around the edge like this. So it covers that seam. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so I just cut 2 strips that can fit wrapped around all the way, that are about 3 to 4 inches thick, because half is going to be on the outside and then half is going to be on the inside. Now, it will end up wrinkly on the inside, but if you fold it the right way, it'll look just fine. So I'll pin it in place and then show you the next step. Okay, so here's the finished product. Here's my adorable little piggy tunnel. So for these green pieces, I mean, they look kind of bad, but it's better than the open end. So what I did was, before I did that, I folded over this end and sewed it so that it wouldn't show the end of the fleece. And then I just folded it over the inside and pinned it and sewed it. And then after I did that to both sides, this side's kind of worse, so that'll be the back. Then I flipped it inside out to trim the excess on the inside. So the outside I did this part, and then the inside I just snipped it. So there's my finished tunnel. I'm hoping that they'll like it. I'm hoping they can fit in it easily. Now, one thing you want to watch out for when you're making it is the seam. You want to try to line up all the seams. So this seam kind of missed by about 1/2 inch, but this seam got pretty close. So you want to try to line up all your seams on one side so it's not seams everywhere. And I did here, you can see that's where the batting is connected, those 2 lines right here, and I think that looks fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Kind of gives it a more complete look instead of just a plain of tubing. It makes it look better, in my opinion. So yeah, here it is. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Actually, I'm not going to be done with this video yet. I'm going to add a clip of the guinea pigs checking it out. So hang in there, and then I'll get them all ready to play. Okay, so here they are out on the floor with their new tunnel. Hazelnut poked her head in for a second, but she doesn't seem too interested. She seems more interested in running away. Hi. Hi. Go play in your tunnel. And Almond is just, what's going on? She's usually like that, though. No, you're not going to run away. You're going to stay here. Look. Look at this. It's a fun new tunnel. No? Yeah, go play in your tunnel. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. There she's just sitting in there now. What are you doing? You're just going to hide in there? Oh, you don't want to go all the way through? You're just going to come back? Okay. Almond, here. Look at that. Look at that. There we go. Go all the way, all the way. No, I don't like it. Oh, she just turned around. Hazel, don't run away on me. Okay, well, it looks like she likes to sleep in it. That's okay. Here you go, guys. There's hay in there. Get it out. Well, there we go. It looks like they like it as a little bed. I wish they would like to run through it, but maybe they will eventually. So there we go. There's how to make a tunnel. Looks like they flipped it upside down, as you can see my beautiful seam. So there's how to make a tunnel for your guinea pigs. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to comment if you have any questions, and please request some videos. And just please subscribe if you would like more videos on guinea pigs and other pets. So thanks again for watching. Bye!